He's been good. Feel. Brenda. Come on. Verse 1.
When I look around and see all of the things that he's done for me, could have been dead, sleeping in my grave, but he told death to get back and behave. Yeah.
He's been good
to me, more than this world could ever be. 24 hours praise, if I could, he's been good.
Verse 2.
Every morning,
when I get out of bed,
it's through grace and mercy that I know he shared. So I gotta praise him the way he should, 'cause there's too much evidence that he's been good.
he's been good to me. More than this world
Could ever
be. 24 hours
praise.
if I could.
If I could
Sing it again. He's been good to me, more than this world could ever be. 24 hours of praise, if I could, come on. He's been good, oh yeah, you see.
no matter what I face me,
Lord, I know you care for me, yes you do.
I'll never forget how he's blessed me. Even though I don't deserve his grace and mercy.
God is good. You gotta praise him. God is good.
All the time, all the time. God is good. He is good. All the time, all the time.
God is good.
I'm thanking for his mercy, and I'm thanking for his grace. Yes, I do. God been good. He's been good. All the time, all the time.
God is good. Yeah.
He's good.
Hallelujah.
All the time.
If I could,
He's been good. Every time.
And it's not just when I'm doing fine. He's good all the time. In the rain, even in the sunshine. He's still good all the time.
Bless me
beyond compare, so I'll praise him anyway.
And when I'm healthy or I'm feeling some pain, God is still good. Just the same.
He's been good.
He's been good to me.
More than this world will be.
24 hours of praise. If I could,
Feel. Brenda. Nicholas, y'all. Yeah, right. He's been good.
if I could, you know I surely would. Yeah. He's been good to me. More than this world could ever be. 24 hours.
Hi, this is Phil and Brenda Nicholas with the very best in gospel music. Keep it locked to the Rhema Gospel Express with Elder James Lockhart. Listen.
Gotta hear this. Listen. Don't worry.
My Lord.
Everything's gonna be alright.
You gotta hear this.
Gotta hear this.
Don't worry.
Don't worry.
God's got you.
Everything's gonna be alright.
Be alright now.
Gotta hear this.
Don't worry.
Don't worry.
Hey guys, we're live with Bishop Terance W. White Sr. He's in the house, and I'm so excited about the interview that we're going to be doing. He's already spoken to me about some amazing things that he's doing in the community, his ministry that he has, and I'm just really excited to interview him and hopefully properly paint you guys the picture of what he's doing in the community, in the world at large, with the ministry, the mission, and the calling that God has given him. So I really want to just introduce you guys to him and let you know where he's from. So tell us where you're from.
I'm a native San Antonian. I'm what some would call a ghetto baby. I was born and raised while my parents lived in the Wheatley Courts until I was 7 years old. The summer of my 7th year, we moved to Dignity Hill. Went to Emerson Junior High, went to Robert E. Lee before it was Bowden. Okay. Watched Fannin close off of East Houston Street, and went to Fox Tech. Okay. Our class, the class of 78, was the first freshman class in high school in San Antonio. So we were Fox. That's right. That's awesome. The year that my class graduated, that was the first 4-year students. Okay. Freshman to senior year. Okay. So we were the last 6th graders, the only kids that went to school for 2 years in middle school. Okay. We opened the new Fox Tech, and that's pretty much my educational background in terms of local. Right. But I grew up in Dignity Hill. Right. Real popular place now. Right. It was a good place to grow up. It was really fantastic. Went to Second Baptist Church. Okay. S.H. James was my pastor. Okay. Baptized me in 1969. I've been to 2 national Baptist. 1969. Yeah, I know, right? Hey, that's cool. Well, give yourself a few years. Your birthday's gonna sound like a long time ago as well. But S.H. James baptized me. I went to 2 national Baptist conventions. Okay. I started teaching Sunday school when I was 12. I was assistant to John Sanders, a former city councilman. Right. He was our Sunday school teacher. Okay. Sang in the choirs, the little ugly green and yellow choir robes. But I was always intrigued at the person of Christ. Right. One of my most defining moments, and I think we all have them. Right. I was 17. I was about to turn 18. Right. I was 17 when I went in the military. Mm-hmm. Weighed 123 pounds. Right. I was pretty scrawny. Right. But another city council member, his son was my squad leader. Okay. Joe Webb. You know the Joe Webb Bridge? Well, his son was my squad leader. Yes. Wow. Daniel Webb. Okay. Daniel Webb injured his elbow, and I took over the squad. Got promoted out of basic, still 17. I was in Fort Hood. Mm-hmm. I had a bad day. Right. Attitude, terrible. Mm-hmm. Went to the mess hall, didn't want to be bothered with anybody. Right. So I sat down, I blessed my food like a good Baptist, and started to eat. Right. A young man walks over, on the opposite side of the table. Mm-hmm. Tall, dark-skinned fellow. Never saw him before. Mm-hmm. He says, "Excuse me, do you mind if I join you?" Right. And I said, "Yeah, it's a free country." Mm-hmm. Attitude. He sat down and he said, "Can I ask you a question?" I'm like, "Yes, what is it?" Right. You know how we get. Right. He says, "Do you know Jesus?" Mm-hmm. At that moment, I understood the question with more clarity than one could imagine. Right. He wasn't asking me if I'd heard of him. Mm-hmm. Do you know him personally? He was asking me if I had an intimate relationship with him. Mm-hmm. And I answered him, no. I know of him. Mm-hmm. Now, this is from someone that was a Sunday school teacher. Right. Baptist Training Union, mm-hmm. in the Baptist choir and all. Right. I was Baptist from head to toe. Right. But I had to confess that there was no intimacy there. Right. He said, "I want to invite you to this church in Temple, Texas." And that's where, it's a little storefront church. Mm-hmm. And that's where I was introduced to a whole new level of serving Christ. I'm not Pentecostal today. Right. We're holy Christians. Mm-hmm. So God set me off on a journey of knowing Him and knowing who I am. Right. I didn't quite know who I was. Okay. I think a lot of us think we do. But until God opens that door, mm-hmm. we're still fumbling around in the dark. Right, definitely. And so, growing up during those years, I was approached by a couple. This is my first experience at helping a married couple. Okay. I was yet 18, hadn't met my soon-to-be bride. And this couple that was a part of the church, they were in their early 30s to mid-30s.
Right.
He was a GS-12
Okay.
at the local VA. That's saying a lot.
Right.
And she was an office manager. And they approached me one night and said, and this is in my book, Why Marriage is Important to God,
Okay.
which should be published by the end of the year. Hopefully, pray for me.
Awesome.
Pray for me.
Awesome,
Millennials,
awesome.
you need to hear this. Because y'all think y'all real bright, and most of you are, but there's some real life things you need to know from a
Right.
kingdom point of view.
Definitely.
Okay?
Okay.
And so this couple said, Brother White, and I said, yes, sir. And he says, we were praying because we have an issue in our marriage.
Right.
And the Lord told us to come in and ask you to, help us, that you could help us. I
Right.
said, really? He said, yes. He said, so we'd like to invite you to our home.
Right.
I said, okay. I was still in the military. This is strange, but I'm going to obey God.
And were you married at that time?
No. No. I was not married.
Okay.
And imagine, what I'm feeling at that moment, right? So anyway, I go with them to their home,
Right.
and they lay out for me what the issue is. And the strangest thing happened. I understood what the solution was.
Right.
As they were yet talking, I knew what the problem was and how to fix it.
Right.
What they needed to do, I couldn't fix it, but what they needed to do. And so I shared that with them after they finished. And they looked at each other at the same time and said, wow, praise the Lord. We never would have thought of that.
Right.
And so that moment, I thought, this is freaky.
Right,
How did
right.
this happen?
Right.
But God is real.
Right.
He's not a soundbite.
Right.
He's not an imaginary being.
Right.
He's real.
Right.
And that moment gave me a lot of clarity. Being young, made a lot of mistakes still.
Right.
Backed away from serving him. My first marriage dissolved after 8 years. Made up my mind I was not going to marry anybody, especially a black woman.
Yep. Yes.
That's what I see.
Yes, he did. He said it.
And my woman is so black.
I was gonna say, did you?
From Alabama, no less.
Okay. Did you marry him?
And my wife and I have been together. We've known each other 31 years. We've been married. It'll be 28 years in November.
Okay.
And she and I are founders of Word of Deliverance Ministries together.
Okay.
But it was not without its trials, its stress points. If you think that marriage is a roller skate party, don't enter into it until you get some real life understanding.
Right.
Marriage is an institution, and I've had to learn that. But the relationship is husband and wife.
Right.
So people think the relationship is marriage, when marriage is just the business you run.
Right.
It's a God business. He's the owner.
Right.
If you exclude the owner's mandates, then you're sure to fail in the relationship. You may stay married for 80 years
Right.
and claim to be happy, but without God.
Right.
But God knows. What did Kenny Rogers say? No one knows what goes on behind closed doors.
Right. Right.
God does.
Right.
And so there's this facade of marriage that blows up in people's faces. My wife and I had some difficult moments, very hard moments. I didn't want to come back to San Antonio
Right.
until God crashed my marriage and brought me back here broke and broken, miserable. And I'm a very successful person. I've owned 5 businesses. Okay, I've had 3 businesses here in San Antonio that people didn't even know about from the east side.
Right. Right.
But I was known in other quarters.
Right.
Having said that, when God brought me back here and brought my wife here, he began to work a thing in us.
Right.
We were still separated. We didn't see eye to eye on some issues. But God had a better plan.
Right.
And because of his better plan and his love towards us, he redeemed us. He restored me. He saved my wife. I was amazed. My wife didn't even know Adam and Eve had kids. And I didn't know she didn't know that.
Right.
Because of this facade that we put up towards each other, for each other. That's a dangerous thing to do in a relationship,
Right.
especially if it's marriage. God never teaches us to shack up.
Right.
Okay, shacking up is a slave thing. If you want to live like a slave, shack up.
Right.
Don't blame nobody but yourself, because you heard it from here. That's a fact. Do your research.
Okay. I have a question.
Ask whatever.
Because he's I think talking about marriage and relationships is really important. I'm actually glad you're writing the book about it. If you have 3 pivotal points, what are the 3 life-changing or life-altering or the 3 most important points that you'd like to leave with people who are either married in a marriage that may not be going so well or considering marriage? So I guess those are 3 different subjects. But if you can touch on those, because I think, and I know in your book you probably speak on those issues.
Quite a bit.
But if you can expound on those, I think I would personally love to hear.
Sure.
And I know that the listeners and the audience would love to hear as well, because it seems you have a gift for this specifically, and I know you speak from testimony, personal experience. So.
Yes. Let me look at it like this. Let's start with the before you get married.
Right.
The courtship. One of the things I find is that everybody puts their best foot forward. We all know this during courtship. But I tell women, you have more power than you utilize.
Right.
You have the power of the purse.
Right. Ladies.
You have the power of the purse. Okay? You are not a pair of shoes.
Right.
You don't have to be tried on before you say, I'll marry you.
Right.
You owe no man nothing, but you owe God your allegiance first.
Right.
Be a person, a woman of integrity, a woman that carries herself with self-respect.
Right.
Don't be prideful, but carry yourself in honor.
Right.
Honor your God and you'll honor your parents.
Right.
Remember the things that are right, good, and holy, and understand young men in America are not taught to be husbands.
Right.
We're taught to be dude. Yo, bro. See what I'm saying? Saggers. Don't know how to keep a job.
Right.
Most guys young today can't keep a job if you duct tape it to their neck. So don't just, look at the facade that he places up.
Right.
Dig. You don't have to invite him into your apartment. You don't have to spend the night with him.
Right.
And you can pay for your own food. Don't feel like you're beholden to him.
Right.
Most young women are very strong in this arena today.
Right.
They're very self-aware. They're very independent.
Right.
And the flip side is a lot of young women have not been taught how to be wives.
Right. So you have those 2.
Those 2 things. Learn how to be strong in your independence, but tender in your affections.
Okay.
Draw a line.
Awesome.
When you're married and you're having trouble in your marriage, don't throw your money to a lawyer. Throw your heart to God. Pray for your husband. Husbands, pray for your wife.
Right.
Okay? It's not so bad that God can't fix it.
Right.
I'm a witness. I've lived it.
And what do you do when you feel like it is? Because I hear what you're saying.
What do you do when you feel like it's over?
Right. Yeah.
Well, one of the things is you have to exercise patience. Be self-reflective, be honest with who you are, and realize that you can't fix the other person. Once you realize that, and it's hard to do because we all want to think we're pretty cool. But be honest with yourself, and don't be afraid to just quit saying you're sorry so much and start asking for forgiveness.
Right.
Let that friendship you had before marriage, mix it with a whole lot of Jesus. Trust God. Please each other. Be considerate towards one another. Be kind. Have honest communication even if it hurts. Even if it hurts. And never put anyone before your spouse unless his name is Jesus.
That was awesome. Okay, so I want to, if you can just leave with us kind of the title of your book, and I want to make sure that we get to know what the name of your church is and make sure we explain that, and then the other ministry that you have here.
Sure. This year we're doing the Marriage and Relationship Conference. I do them every year. I've been doing them for years. And this year we're having it at the Doubletree Hotel. Next year, I don't know, but my assistant will make sure that we have it here in San Antonio. The title of my book is Why Marriage is Important to God, and the subtitle is Tools to Build a Godly Marriage. It's important to God that His institution is properly ran. Right. That's why I'm here. That's why I do what I do. The book should be published later this year. I'll be sending it to, and the next book I'm working on is called 934 Dawson Street. It's a coming of age book, and you'll see God's hands in all of that. So if you're struggling with something right now, don't struggle, just trust.
That was awesome.
God bless you.
And that is Bishop Terance W. White Sr. He's amazing.
Oh,
so
God bless you.
check out the
Amazing.
book. Thank you for leaving your words of wisdom and your testimony.
My pleasure. Thank you so much. God bless you and keep you as I pray.
Yes, sir.
And you can tell them who my church is. Because I left that out.
Oh yes, and his church is Word of Deliverance. It's here in San Antonio, so you guys can check it out as well.
Word of Deliverance Ministries. Our address is 123 Goliad Road, San Antonio, Texas. We have so many young married couples in our church. You have to come and see what God is doing to believe that God can do it. The website, if you want to contact us or find out more about the marriage conferences, wordofdeliveranceSA.org. WordofdeliveranceSA.org. I'm Bishop White. God's people gather in love at Word of Deliverance Ministry. Love you. Be safe.
That was good.
Thank you. Have me back sometime.
Listen, your victory lies within you. It lies within your heart, within your mind, within your soul. And this very same victory is so much larger than your drama, than your problems, than any difficulty that you will encounter. Remember, all things really do work together for good for them that love the Lord. Believe that. All things work together. All things work together. All things work together for them that love the Lord. I don't worry about tomorrow and the pain the day might bring. I just like the sunshine, Lord, and how I do my thing. I don't worry about the devil or what he's trying to do. I'm just here to praise right now and sing my song for you. All things work together. All things work together. All things work together for them that love the Lord. You might think that I am crazy to praise the Lord this way, but I'd love to praise him now. I praise him every day, and I don't care about the haters and what they're trying to do. I know that the Lord is good. I sing the song for you. All things that you might take for granted might be the things that Jesus wants to happen. All things just might take some time, but when it's accomplished, it sure will blow your mind, your mind, your mind. All things work together. Them that love the Lord together for them that love the Lord. Together. All things work together. All things work together. All things work together for them that love